difficulty is that we think about protection, but not the responsibility. And as you've heard, that board relies on the management and the auditors rely on the board and the management. Because if you read the first paragraph of every audit report, it says, maintaining the accounts is the responsibility of the management and the board of directors. And in that cycle, the people who suffer are actually the investors and the creditors. And the reason they suffer is because they are inactive. And unfortunately, now we want the directors to spend more time, as Adnan Sahab has pointed out. That will not happen. We want them to act in good faith. Now, good faith is an exceptionally interesting term that we lawyers use all the time. But there is no tool to measure good faith. Relying on a gentleman's word has become a bit archaic now. So what I think what needs to be done is, in order to provide protection, for example, we have now provided that independent directors will be protected. We have given a blanket protection. And what that has resulted into now independent directors not being worried what their role is. Our other problem of our culture is that when we look at solutions provided in the other jurisdiction, we also have to look at the business structures in the other jurisdictions. There, the companies are managed by a board, but the shareholding is very dispersed. In our case, a shareholding is with the management from anywhere from 75% to 95%, even in the listed companies. So basically, everybody that on the board is with our culture of lihaz. I am not sure how to properly translate it into English, but that actually leads to a lot of problems. I just came across very recently a board of directors of a listed company that has gone down, unfortunately. And I asked them, what happened? And they said, well, there were XYZ issues. Requested them, how did you deal with them? They resigned. So essentially, if that is the kind of protection that we are looking at, I don't think then we are looking at it the right way. Because before you reach the insolvency, before you reach the debt restructuring or the financial restructuring, you need to correct the culture in which we operate. And I think what the board of directors, whether they are independent, executive, non-executive, what they need is a help to measure their good faith. And that's where the professional associations or the self-regulatory organizations, as we call them, become relevant for the creditors, for the investors, for the mutual funds being the latest, the largest of the investors in the stock market. But unfortunately, none of these associations have even a standard that they would look at to their borrowers or investees to follow. So for a director sitting on the board, he has absolutely no tool available to measure except his own experience. And as we lead most of the lives in a cell, our experiences are generally limited to that cell. So unless we improve that culture, rating is important, but rating then brings a fee bill, and we hate fee bills. When a bank wants to lend, the lending banker is looking at just increasing his book. Similarly, when the investor wants to invest, he is looking at investing his book. But that's where actually the entire credit risk management and everything ends. Then he looks at the board of directors to perform, but he is not willing, or has not, at least until now, given him any help how to improve his performance. Whether it be the director who represents the 75% shareholder, or who has 500 shares and has been selected as an independent director. Without meaning any disrespect to anyone, I don't think any of the directors can be on the board as an independent director unless the majority shareholder supports him. So from our culture, obviously that supports mean that he also supports him. When he does not have a standard by which to tell his friend that, sorry, we are going wrong, it becomes very difficult for him to give a positive feedback. So if we have industry standards from the investors, if we have industry standards from the creditors, and they can do that not as an individual creditors, because if one bank, for example, implements a standard which is stringent than the other, the borrower will go to the other bank. Similarly, for investors, if one set of mutual funds says that I'm going to only invest in the companies that follow XYZ practices, there will be people who will not be stringent on that, and that's the reason why the standard should be developed by the industry. And it should not be, regulators should not have a role for two reasons. One, I hope I'm not beaten by SEC when I get out. Regulator is reactive, slow. They adopt to the change too late and too little. And that is actually the way they have to function. Industry can be more agile, they can react fast, and they have more insight of the issues in the industry. So unless we actually go on that side and provide the directors the ability to measure if they are acting in good faith and due diligence, I don't think it's going to help us by putting in a regulatory framework, having the code of corporate governance, which is, I think almost lived its life. I have borrowed that phrase, and the gentleman knows who I've borrowed that phrase from. So basically, it is an active, moving industry standard that can then provide you the standard by which you should act. Some people will do better, some will at least measure their performance by that standard, and then providing them protection becomes easier, because you have, obviously, for good faith judgments, whether they are proven wrong later on, they need protection. They should not have a personal liability, but that good faith should not be measured by someone sitting in and looking at the things in the hindsight. It should be a proactive standard that is available by which their good faith can be measured, and then they should be entitled to protection, which is already there in the law. But right now the difficulty is that that protection is actually doing more harm than the good.